Hi everyone, today I wanted to come on and chat to you a little bit about confidence. So the reason that I've been thinking a lot about this recently is because a few weeks ago I went on a Zoom call in my art membership. It's run by an artist called Alice Sheridan. It's called Connected Artist. So if anybody's interested, go look it up. It's a really great membership to be a part of. And I've been in the membership for over 3 years and it's the first time I've been on the Zoom call. It's a call where the artist members get together and create and chat, and it's just a really relaxed call. I've watched the co-create in the Facebook group before, but I've never actually got the courage to go in on Zoom and listen and be a part of that conversation. So a couple of weeks ago I decided that I was going to have the courage to join and keep my camera on and just kind of listen, and if I spoke then that was fine. So during the conversation, Alice, who is the artist that runs the membership, mentioned me. She'd obviously seen that I'd joined the call and maybe noticed that I hadn't been on it before. And she brought my name into the conversation and kind of spoke directly about me. And I felt that it was a good chance for me to unmute and join the conversation. And obviously for me that was quite a difficult thing to do, to take myself off mute and talk in front of all these people. But we had a really good conversation, and there was another artist who joined in, and it was really lovely, and it felt like there were just the three of us really having this conversation, and I didn't really pay much attention to everyone else that was on the call. When I got off the call I felt really proud of myself for joining in, for being able to speak in front of all those people, because I don't have much confidence in that area, and it is really hard. But as the day progressed I started to really overthink the conversation and the things that I'd said, and started having quite upsetting feelings of vulnerability, and that I'd put myself out there and that people would find what I had to say boring, or maybe I'd gone off topic and I hadn't contributed to the conversation in the way that I should have done. Maybe I was speaking about things that were boring, and really I felt like, why would anyone want to hear what I've got to say anyway? And as these sort of thoughts developed, I started to feel more and more vulnerable and uncomfortable with the conversation that had gone on. And the call was get recorded and then put into the group, and I was feeling quite uncomfortable about the fact that people were going to watch this back and hear me speak on the call. And I was actually getting quite upset with myself that I was having these feelings and thoughts that, why would anyone want to listen to what I've got to say anyway? And that's quite an upsetting feeling to have about yourself, and shows how little confidence that I have in myself and in what I've got to say and what I've got to share with people. And I was wondering if it was a common feeling or whether I was completely alone and other people didn't feel like this, because there are a lot of people that go on these calls and they seem really confident and they chat away and it doesn't feel like it's a big deal to them, and I wonder why I can't be like that, and if it was just me, and if I kind of was alone in that. So I decided to write my feelings down and post them in our artist membership group, and I wasn't expecting to get any reply really, maybe one or two at the most, but that was about a couple of weeks ago, and I cannot tell you the replies that I have had from people that have come forward and said that they feel exactly the same, that they've been in the membership maybe for 2 years or 4 years and they've still not had the confidence to go on a co-create call on Zoom. Maybe it's to do with the fact that it is online and you have to unmute and wait, and maybe by the time you kind of feel like you're going to do that, the time's passed and the conversation has gone on to something else already. It is a little bit more difficult, I think, than being in person, but for me, even if I was in person, I still would find it hard to just speak in a conversation unless somebody specifically asked me a question. So loads of people came forward with all their thoughts and their feelings about how they also feel that it's really hard, or they've not been on a co-create, or they go on and they keep their camera off and they don't feel that they can speak, and that they're too scared or nervous. And people were saying that they overthink as well, and they do the same thing in conversations that I do, where they keep processing and overthinking what they've said and have all the same kind of thoughts and feelings as me. And I just felt really I was surprised and I was really encouraged, and I felt really supported by all these other artists coming forward saying that they felt the same. I just found that it was really helpful reading everybody else's comments, and it felt really encouraging and supportive knowing that I wasn't alone in these feelings. And it's just given me that little bit more confidence that because it's not just me and other people feel like that it's okay to show up in that way, and that people don't necessarily think that what I've got to say is boring. I don't think that about other people on the call, so why would I think that about myself? And actually, if they do, then that's okay, because what we've all got to say isn't always going to be of interest to everybody, because we're all different. We might listen to a podcast weekly and absolutely love it, but there might be one conversation that we don't find that interesting, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Other people will find it interesting. It's like our work, and when we put our work out there, not everybody's going to love it. Everyone's got their own feelings, their own thoughts and opinions, and that's what makes art so interesting, because there will be people that absolutely love it and there'll be people that don't, and that starts a conversation. And that's the whole point of being able to be creative and create things that come from you. But because it makes us feel vulnerable, it's really difficult to show up and be vulnerable because it's scary. So I just felt like it was quite important for me to show up and talk about my experience, because I felt that by doing that in the group, it gave people an outlet and a place to say, yeah, I feel like that too. And when it can be quite isolating, either being a creative on your own or feeling like you want to be creative and not really knowing where to start, which is where I was a few years ago. And knowing that other people are there to support you and encourage you, and that they're feeling the same, I think is really helpful. So I kind of just wanted to come on and share my experience with you, and also to kind of jump on the momentum for myself of showing up and continuing to show up for myself, to build my confidence, and for you guys to show you that if you don't have confidence in showing up, in being visible, in starting your art, in showing your art, then that's okay, and that you can do it. I've done it, and for me it's been a really slow and gentle process, and that's okay too. You can take your time, and that doesn't mean that you're not going to get there. It just means that you need to do it at your own pace, and I think it's just really important to share that, and I thought that it would be a nice discussion point. So I'm going to put this in the group and put this out to you. Let me know, comment under the video, start your own post if you feel like you want to. Let me know how you feel about this. Do you agree with it? Do you resonate? Does any of it resonate with you? How do you feel about showing up? Let me know in the comments.